Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Will Weaver, and I'm a Troop 20's Senior Patrol Leader. On behalf of the Geisler, Grover, and Jackson families and Troop 20, it is my privilege to welcome you to the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Diego Geisler, Leo Grover, and John Jackson. This Eagle Scout Court of Honor is now called to order. Please welcome Eagle Scout Alex Fowler for the presentation of the colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law.
Will the audience please stand for presentation of the colors? Color Guard, attention. Scout salute. Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, halt. Color Guard, prepare to post the colors. Color Guard, post the colors. Will the audience please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scouts, please join me in the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty, to God and my country, and to obey Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scouts, please join me in the Scout law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Please be seated. At this time, I ask Mr. Ben Weaver, Committee Chair for Troop 20, to provide a review of the Trail to Eagle.
When a youth joins Boy Scouts, there is within the child something that we call Scout spirit. The youth may not know that it exists or know its meaning, but by following the Trail to Eagle, the Scout is enlightened. This single candle lit before you represents that spirit. The spirit of Scouting embodies the principles of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. It becomes a shining beacon of inspiration. Alone, this light may seem feeble, but when multiplied by the millions of scouts and youth in scouting around the world, it is powerful indeed. The pathway that a scout takes to reach the rank of Eagle Scout can be described as a steep trail leading up to 3 peaks, the highest being that of Eagle Scout. Here, a new scout is first introduced. The trail starts with scout rank. Here, a new scout is first introduced to the troop and begins to learn basics, outdoor skills, and how the troop is organized and operates. It is here that the seeds of teamwork, duty, and citizenship are planted. The trail continues to Tenderfoot. The scout enters the foothills and is faced with the challenges of working as a patrol member and learning the basic skills of camping, cooking, using tools, providing first aid, and hiking. The scout is introduced to leadership and learns from the older boy leaders under guidance of the adult leaders in the troop. After Tenderfoot comes the climb to second class. Here, the trail gets steeper. Only through the scout's persistence and dedication will he be able to keep climbing. The scout is expected to demonstrate his experience in camping, outdoor ethics, cooking, using tools, tying knots, navigating in the outdoors, knowledge of nature, swimming, using a watercraft, providing first aid, physical fitness, and citizenship. During this phase, the scout is given instruction and guidance and develops teamwork and leadership skills. The scout rests for a moment, then turns up another steep switchback to make the climb to first class. The climb is even harder as expectations on the scout begin to grow. To become a first-class scout, he needs to show that he has not only mastered the skills he has been learning, but has expanded his knowledge in those areas. He demonstrates teamwork and leadership skills during troop meetings and campouts. During this climb, the scout is also being examined. The adult leaders are watching to see if the flicker of light representing duty, service, and the scout law is growing within. Reaching first class is an important step in a scout's life. The scout has demonstrated that the requirements of each of the previous ranks have been met, and the scout is showing scout spirit. Now the real mountain climbing begins. To begin the climb, the scout is first asked, "Are you ready for the next challenge?" Secondly, can you and will you teach others what you have learned? The path going forward is marked with service, leadership, exploration, and a stronger presence of scout spirit. The first peak to be reached is the rank of Star Scout. The scout provides leadership to the troop, service to fellow scouts and to the community, and completes merit badges of personal interest, as well as those required to reach Eagle. He sets a positive example for the younger scouts to follow. He helps to teach scout skills and fosters teamwork. Upon reaching this first peak, the scout is a star. The scouting family expects the light of scout spirit to be shining more brightly. The second peak is the rank of Life Scout. Again, the scout must complete several hours of service to the community. The scout must demonstrate additional leadership within the troop by helping to plan troop meetings and events, prepare patrols for district competitions, ensure scouts are provided with guidance and direction toward advancement, and provide instruction in the same scout skills he learned from his predecessors. The scout must complete several more merit badges. And finally, the scout must have embodied scout spirit in daily life. The badge for Life Scout contains a heart. This is the only rank position that shows what Boy Scouts is all about and what is inside the scout. This rank badge answers these questions. Does the scout understand duty? Does the scout understand the 12 points of the scout law? What is in this young person's heart? The third peak is the Eagle Scout. The scout has embodied the scout spirit in life. Now the scout must be tested on one final climb to see if this spirit is truly part of his character. The requirements are much the same as Star in Life in providing continued leadership to the troop and earning additional merit badges. However, the scout must now go into the community to plan, organize, coordinate, and deliver a service project, a demonstration of leadership and character. And one final time, the scout must go before a group of adults who focus on reviewing his character, leadership, and spirit. The awarding of the Eagle Badge is an important and serious occasion, the climax and the goal for which a scout works for many years. It is an occasion for pride and joy and a time for serious contemplation. It is a culmination of the efforts of both the scout and the various leaders of this troop. The Eagle Award is the highest and most coveted rank in scouting. The last major step in the advancement program. Less than 1 out of 50, or 2%, of Scouts in the United States have reached the Eagle rank. Thank you, guys. A few words about the 3 Eagle Scouts we have here today. The reason we've all come together for this big event and the ceremony. We'll start with Diego. Diego has been in the troop since 5th grade. He has earned a total of 26 merit badges and has served as patrol leader, quartermaster, senior patrol leader, and troop guide. He is a member of the Order of the Arrow and completed the Mountain Man High Adventure. Diego's Eagle Project restored 14 concrete street pillars spread across several blocks in his neighborhood on behalf of the Houston Heights Association. Volunteers worked to level, clean, patch, and repaint the signs. This improved the aesthetics of the neighborhood and was well received by the community. I go by one very regularly. It's great, Diego. Leo has also been in Troop 20 since 5th grade. He has earned a total of 27 merit badges and has served as patrol leader, troop guide, assistant senior patrol leader, and senior patrol leader. He is a member of the Order of the Arrow, completed the National Youth Leadership Training course, and attended BSA Sea Base, the U.S. Virgin Islands. What an awesome experience. Leo's Eagle Project provided needed grounds improvements and maintenance to our chartered organization, St. Matthew's Church, where we are today. He and many volunteers renovated planting beds as well as installed improved flood control improvements. As you head out today, you'll see that on the side street here. It looks great. John has also been in Troop 20 since 5th grade. He has earned a total of 26 merit badges and has served as patrol leader, as a second-class scout, no less. Wow. Troop guide, instructor, assistant senior patrol leader, and senior patrol leader. He is a member of the Order of the Arrow and has attended BSA Sea Base Bahamas and Philmont Scout Ranch. 2 high adventure programs. That's awesome. John's Eagle Project provided new gardening space to a local St. Vincent de Paul food bank at All Saints Catholic Church in the Heights. Over the course of 3 days, many volunteers assisted in the preparation and construction of 6 68-square-foot gardening beds, which will provide fresh fruits and vegetables for over 100 local in-need families. A great project, too. On behalf of Dave Williams, chairman of the Eagle Scout Board of Review for Troop 20, it is my pleasure to report that after a thorough review of their qualifications, Diego Geisler, Leo Grover, and Jonathan Jackson have qualified for the rank of Eagle Scout and are entitled to receive the Eagle Scout Award.
At this time, I ask Mr. Todd Guerra, former Scout Master for Troop 20, to come forward to say a few words on Diego, Leo, and John's time in the troop.
Welcome, everybody. Normally I'm used to doing that earlier, but I'll still say it again. I'm Todd Guerra. I'm the former Scout Master, and excited to see a full group out there. My stories and recollections of these guys obviously come from my own personal experience, so if you'd like to add something, in all seriousness, feel free to speak up and or come up afterwards, right? It's fun to share these stories. Some repeat from what Mr. Weaver said, but these guys represent the melting pot that we have here at Troop 20. Diego came over from Pac 30. where he had a short, little bit of about a year's time stint before he crossed over, which means he did a whole lot in a short amount of time to be able to cross over in 6 months. 6 months. Yeah, you're right. That's not bragging. Yeah, it's okay. So John didn't have a Cub Scout pack. His dad Andy was an Eagle Scout, but John, like I said, wasn't in Cub Scouts. Our fortune, Troop 20's fortune, was that he lived across the street from Mr. Gleitman, and Mr. Gleitman said, "You got to come join us. Come start some fires with us." So John came on, and the rest is history. Leo came from a different pack. He came from Pack 1138, where he had a full Cub Scout career. So that starts in first grade. Actually, one of the stories I have was relayed to me about Leo was his first ever camp out. His first ever camp out got to like 19 degrees. This is first grade, right? 19 degrees and large wind gusts and let's just say several unprepared boys and probably parents as well. But they just simply thought that's how it was supposed to be, right? And they just carried on. See what you guys missed from all the little short Cub Scout careers? Jumping ahead to Boy Scouts with the troop. I don't remember a lot about these guys in their early years, which is generally a good thing, right? Well, except that time Diego got caught with a couple others trying to start a fire in a grass area, some dry grass. Quiet please, I'm talking. I don't think it's a coincidence that we've never returned to Louisiana as a camp. And I remember Leo a bit. I remember him at camps, walking around by himself, guessing, just thinking about life, just enjoying the camp, enjoying the outdoors. Maybe not coincidentally, John, who also arrived without any Cub Scout friends, as I mentioned, seemed to find Leo, and they became good buddies. Before long, they were always hanging out together and ultimately entered St. Thomas together. So they've been good buddies for a while. So it's kind of fun to watch all three of these guys grow up together. I remember Diego's early years were full of innocence and some curiosity, not unlike most. I often admitted to the boys as Scoutmaster that if they behaved on campouts, they wouldn't have to spend time with me, right? They were there to go camping on their own, have fun, and not spend time with the adults. One time I said that, and Diego said, "You know what? I like hanging out with you, Mr. Guerra." He was very young. It was his first year, and I said, "You're going to grow out of that. Trust me." But to his credit, he always seemed comfortable with the adults, and until he were SPL, and then we had to curb some of that enthusiasm, and butted heads a few times, but it's all good. I guess Diego had a knack for learning lessons along the way, like not teaching his friend Ross to dump salt on his food while he was at summer camp. No, it's not why he went to the hospital for appendicitis, but I'm not sure we know that for sure, do we? Yeah. Or again, teaching lessons. This one needs to be on a Scout shirt. Where's Mr. Ramirez? This needs to be on a Scout shirt. Pouring boiling water into his food pouch while he was holding it between his knees on the canoe campout. Quite literally, Dad thought he was going to have to evacuate him. Thank goodness there was a cool river water close by, and that helped out. So, thanks for teaching the other guys some good lessons as the leader there, Diego. So that's good stuff. Diego wasn't the only one who learned hard lessons. John's biking merit badge experience is one I won't soon forget. I got to go on that with him. The way this badge works is that you progressively ride longer distances, right? You're a little safety at first, then you teach. It starts out at 5 miles and progressively works up to 50 miles over several weekends. The early trips are pretty easy, right? Especially if you're riding a mountain bike like some of us were. John certainly was. But you learn real quick that a road bike with the skinny tires and lightweight makes the trips a whole lot easier. Well, most of us learned that. Thank goodness. I know Trevor borrowed Mr. Geisler's bike on the last ride. Good, smart Trevor. I'm going to say he probably got that from his dad, because Dad borrowed a bike from somebody else as well. On that last ride, I remember John, the 50-miler, again on the hike and bike trail, so pretty easy terrain, but not without some headwinds here and there. I remember John laboring shortly after halfway. And then somewhere around the 45-mile marker on the hike and bike trail, not far from his house actually, and which made for a very easy bailout point, John looked up. This is a true story. John looked up and he saw an eagle circling over the hike and bike trail over where we were at. And he's like, "Hey, Mr. Guerra, look." And I mean, I'm thinking there's no way there's an eagle up there. He's just trying to stop. He's doing anything for a break. But it was there. It was there, and it probably saved his trip. We must have watched that eagle fly for 30 minutes. So he could catch his breath and work out the cramps in his legs. But to his credit, he stuck it out, and we all finished. There was, how many of us? About 8 of us? Something like that, maybe less. I'm not sure he didn't throw his bike away, though, after that trip. I'll let you guys figure that out. Other stories I recall, these guys are generally from the high adventure trips. Diego's high adventure was Mountain Man at BTSR. Buffalo Trail Scout Ranch is one of our favorite scout camps. Diego went with his dad and a few others from that trip. I guess he was good at throwing knives, you said, and if I remember from my experiences there, the knives are pretty dull, so you're lucky if you stuck it in anything. But I guess the only thing I really recall is knowing that they went on a 9-mile hike one day, and they sloshed their way through water and all that kind of thing. And Trevor and who else was on that? Charles, I think you're here. We were on the same camp out, but we were on horses. And it took us half the amount of time, and that was taking it easy, and our feet were nice and dry. So Diego and Pat, you guys, you probably didn't learn, probably didn't listen, something like that, but that's what I remember. I remember the cavalcade piece, and I remember you all suffering, so that was pretty good. Let's see. So sorry you missed out. John and Leo's high adventure, as Mr. Weaver said, was with the troop, was with Sea Base. John went to Philmont with another troop, with I think family, right, in San Antonio. But his troop high adventures at Sea Base. John and I went to the Bahamas together, where we sailed and we snorkeled and we slept on the deck of a 40-foot sailboat for a week. Not a bad way to spend a scout week. I remember being jealous that John was the youngest one of us, of the 8 of us, aside from the captain. I remember being jealous of John that he was the one who napped more than me on the trip. But it sure was relaxing on the deck of that boat, wasn't it? Leo later went to Sea Base. A couple years later, he went to Sea Base in the Virgin Islands. Mr. Torgerson was on that trip, and I asked him about it. He said Leo seemed to just have a great time. Nothing remarkable. He said he was just pretty much even-keeled the entire time. Huh? Good Scoutmaster joke. You didn't think I'd put that in there. It's not uncommon for the troop to have an Eagle Scout with multiple participants, but it is uncommon for all of them to have served as senior patrol leader, all in successive terms. They had their unique styles. John was very decisive and happy to take charge. Diego was very similar, even if he struggled with delegation a bit. And Leo, overcoming a loud voice as an ASBL, ended up being someone the boys respected greatly. I tell you what, being SBL and working back and forth with the Scoutmaster, some of the best times I've had, and won't share all of those stories because there's some hard lessons and some good times in there as well. But I mean, they're just priceless times that I will always take for granted. And I know you're going to look forward to that, Mr. Torges. It's good stuff. It was obvious to me that each of these guys deserved that opportunity to be SBL senior patrol leader. They're the boys that are leading the troop. For those who are unfamiliar, I was just happy and proud that they all stepped up to take that challenge, leading the group, and quite frankly, making the adult leader's job easier. So thanks, guys. John, Leo, Diego, you all had memorable scouting careers, and I can easily say on behalf of those same adult leaders, we were all happy to share those years with you, and we wish you all the best. Thanks very much.
stories, maybe. You know. So when I first met Diego, he was with a few of his friends. We took an RV, or that, what was it? Grayson's little car thing, and he is not what he seems to be. You're not what you seem to be. He may look innocent, but inside he's very, very nice. Alive, yes, alive. Let's say that for now. Leo, I enjoyed our time in Seabase. I loved hitting my head on everything. Your food cooking was amazing. Basically, nothing wrong with it. It was edible. I don't remember either. It was so good. And what's your name, John? I always kind of saw you when I was in 6th grade, and then from then on I couldn't see you anymore, because you never grew from then on. That's all I have. I gotta talk again, don't I? All right, at this time I asked Mr. Ray Torgeson, Scoutmaster for Troop 20, to come forward to describe the Eagle Scout responsibilities and administer the Eagle Scout Oath.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon. As an Eagle Scout, I want you to stay there. Just stay there. As an Eagle Scout, I challenge you on behalf of all Eagle Scouts to accept the responsibilities as well as the honor of the Eagle Award. These responsibilities are as follows. An Eagle Scout must live with honor. His honor is sacred, the foundation of all character. An Eagle will live so that he reflects credit upon his home, his church, school, friends, and himself. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor. An Eagle Scout is to be loyal. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day that thou canst not be false to any man. Neither pain nor profit, pride nor personal loss shall sway his loyalty. The blue on your badge is the emblem of loyalty. An Eagle Scout is courageous. Courage gives all character force and strength. With trust in God and faith in his fellow man, he faces each day unafraid and seeks his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of your badge remind you of courage. Finally, an Eagle Scout is service-oriented. Extend a helping hand to those who toil along the scouting trail you have completed, just as others have aided you. The daily good turn must take on a new meaning and better life pattern of service. Protect and defend the weak and the helpless. Comfort the unfortunate and the oppressed. Uphold the rights of others as well as your own. Remember, real leadership is founded upon real service. Will all Eagles in the audience please rise? We're going to be reading the Eagle Scout Oath. Gentlemen, please give the Scout sign and repeat the Eagle Scout Oath after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example, my rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship. In my troop, in my community, and in my contacts with other people. Always. Eagles in the audience can please be seated. Just a few personal comments. I can't put to words, and that's part of my job sometimes, how proud I am of each of you. I've had amazing experiences watching you from advancing from the middle ranks over the last few years here today to the highest rank. I've enjoyed camping with you, planning meetings with you, organizing events. It's just been an absolute privilege to watch you grow. You have each matured in different ways. You all started in different places. You've ended up here in different places, and yet you've achieved this incredibly difficult and I think momentous award. And so you're to be congratulated, and just personally, it's been a pleasure to watch you. Thank you for that opportunity. Will the parents of the Eagle candidates please come forward? Will the mothers stand to the Eagles' left and the fathers on the Eagles' right? No one will ever know the innumerable acts of self-sacrifice and helpfulness from your mothers which have helped lead to this day. As a symbol of what their mothers made possible, the court now asks Diego, Leo, and John to present their mothers with a miniature eagle pin. I'm bringing them to you. Your fathers have stood by you over the years and have offered their encouragement and assistance. As a symbol of what they have contributed to your attainment of this award, the court now asks you to present your fathers with a miniature eagle pin. Diego, Leo, and John, on behalf of the Scouts, the adult leaders, and the committee members of Troop 20, it is my pleasure to present to you the Eagle Scout neckerchief and neckerchief slide. Fathers, if you would remove the old neckerchief. Diego Geisler, Leo Grover, and Jonathan Jackson, by the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of the Eagle Scouts and Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege to pronounce you an Eagle Scout. It is with distinct honor and pleasure that I present you with the Eagle Scout Award, which I will ask your mother to pin over your heart, as well as your Eagle Scout certificate signed by the Chief Scout Executive and the President of the United States. Parents, you may be seated. Thank you very much.
At this time, I invite each of our new Eagles to make some remarks.
Hello, everybody. If you don't already know by now, my name is Diego Geisler. And being here today is such an honor. I have had probably the best years of my life here in Scouting. It's been nothing but such an amazing, magical time in my life, and I owe the world to all the guys sitting in front of me here, to everybody I've invited out here, to my family. You all have done so much for me. One of the special people in my life has been with me in Scouting since I joined Troop 20. He is a goofball. He likes to sleep on campouts. We have done a Court of Honor, where we gave him a Chair of Honor. And I think that this man has been one of, if not the most influential man in my life. Mr. Guerra, will you come up here and receive your mentor pin? Don't worry, I got more. This next person, I would not be standing here at this podium speaking to you all without this man over my shoulder for the past 7 years. He has been the one who's making sure I've been doing all of my requirements, going on campouts, making sure I get things signed off, making sure I'm in my leadership positions, making sure I'm going to meetings, all of these things. And for a while, I didn't really understand what the whole fuss was. Like, so what if I went to this random meeting where I maybe would have gotten one requirement signed off, maybe not. But it ended up being very valuable, and just admittedly getting Eagle in the last couple weeks before I turned 18. Without his praise and his encouragement, I don't believe I would be here. So, Patrick, Dad, would you come up here and get your Eagle pin? This next one has also been with the troop much longer than I have. I'm not exactly sure when he joined. He has been here for a while, this wise old man that everybody adores in the troop. He's not necessarily a leader now, but he was very involved in his prime with the troop when his son was with us as a scout, who is now off to bigger and better things now as a pilot. This man has been just the nice shoulder to lean on whenever any of us, especially me, needed somebody to go to talk to have a conversation with if we needed something signed off, or if it was a personal matter, or if it was something unrelated to either. He's been there for all of us, including me. Mr. Whitehurst, come up here and get your mentor pin. Almost done. This next one is, he has not been with the troop as long as the first three, but he has been just as influential in all of our lives, especially the past Eagles who have been with the troop since he's joined. This man has been so helpful to so many scouts in the troop. He's a loving, caring, awesome man, and his help with the troop, both in getting people past life into Eagle to this podium where I am standing, to getting requirements signed off and everything in between. Mr. Williams, we come up here and get your Eagle. Last one, I promise. This man is a little bit unorthodox. He is not any scout leader, has not been affiliated with scouts before, but he has been, outside of scouting, outside of my family, the most influential man of my childhood. He's got me through so many things. He has taught me so many things. He's been also a goofball, maybe more than Mr. Guerra. I don't know. We'll see. He is taking me to Vegas this summer. It's not like what it sounds. It's with a bunch of other people, and it's for a thing. Okay. He's not in the audience right now. He is running late, per usual. This is a thing he does, but it's fine. This pin goes to my karate instructor, Mr. Garza. Thank you all.
All right. Hello, my name is Leo Grover, if you did not already know. Just to mirror Diego here really quick, being with Troop 20 and with Scouting has been immeasurably impactful in my life. It has helped me become the man who I am today. And I am certain that without the experiences, the skills, and the people that I have met and developed relationships with along the way, I would not be up here and not have gotten as far in my life as I have. So just to keep it sort of shorter, on my end, I'll start with my pins. The first person I would like to award a pin to, the positive energy that they have brought to this troop, I would say is invaluable to us. He's always there with a smile on his face and reassures myself and the other Eagles standing up here with me, no matter what we're anxious about, be it something small and trivial to something as big as our project. His advice and kind words always see us through it and make us just feel a little bit more prepared than we feel like we are. I would like Mr. Ben Weaver to come up and receive this maker pin. My second and last pin goes to the person who has, without a doubt, made the biggest impacts on my life. He's the one who pushed me forward through all of scouting, would make me go to the campouts that I maybe didn't want to go on, take up the leadership positions like SPL that I didn't want to have, and finish the Eagle Scout workbook on a 5-hour plane ride back from Seattle that I really didn't want to do at the time. But in all seriousness, he pushed me forward, and I certainly would not have made it this far in scouting if it was not for his encouragement and his guidance throughout not just scouting, but all of my life. Dad, Scott Grover, would you please come up and receive this mentorship pin?
I have more than Diego, but I'll try to be as fast as possible, I swear. My first mentor pen was spoiled a little bit earlier in this speech. But if it weren't for this man, who's sadly not here today, I would not, or not here in the sanctuary today. He's very much so doing fantastic, I'm sure. Mr. Dan Gleitman brought me into the troop and has really kept me a part of scouting. And just the other day, I made this joke at my board of review for my Eagle Scout when he was there. Right as we left, I walked up to him and I said, hey, can I get a ride? For a lot of the time, he was the one that drove me home every day from Scouts for almost 4 years. And it brought me a lot of joy to know that I got to this point and I kind of lived up to his expectations. So would Miss Pauline Schlosser come up and receive a pin in his place? My second mentor was a person who began to push me a lot harder as I started becoming second and first class and really challenged me to become a better scout and a better leader. And most of all, to be more proactive and less of a procrastinator, especially as it pertained to communicating with upper leadership and adults. He absolutely inspired me when it comes to taking more naps and letting the boys figure it out for themselves when they needed to do things their own way. Would Mr. Todd Guerra please come up?
And pedal harder. Pedal harder.
I try. A person who has definitely been present throughout my entire, he showed up the year after I joined, and he definitely has been very present in my scouting career, especially towards the end, and this actually applies to my last 4. Someone who's been very present throughout the duration, especially getting me to Eagle Scout. These last 4 individuals will definitely tell you that I emailed them often, frantically, confused, without a lot of direction, not knowing what I was doing. And they got me to become Eagle Scout. Without them, I am 100% sure I would not have made it here. So I'd like to start off with Mr. Ben Weaver. The other person I emailed frantically, and I do mean frantically, constantly, because I had procrastinated until the very last minute, was a person who continually reassured me that I was perfectly fine and that I'd have plenty of time and that if I just calmed down, I'd get through it and everything would be all right. Just stop freaking out. Would Mr. Williams please come up? Three more, I swear. Okay, I'll make this really quick. Mr. Whitehurst, if you'd like to start coming up here now, to get through this faster. Mr. Whitehurst has always been someone to support me. When I showed up, he was here with Mr. Gleitman and Mr. Guerra, making sure that I was a well-adjusted younger scout, and was very much so aware that when I was younger, I was a little hyperactive and didn't follow rules, and maybe wasn't the best at taking instructions, but really stuck it out with me all the way to the end, so thank you. So, Mr. Torgerson, I wouldn't sit down yet. So, when Mr. Torgerson showed up, I remember him immediately taking charge, and very much so being a figure I remembered immediately. And from that moment forward, we kind of knew he would become assistant scoutmaster and then subsequently our current scoutmaster. He's definitely been very prevalent in making sure that I am good at what I do, and what I do is not procrastinate as much and try to lead sometimes. But he's definitely been there to support me along the whole way. And I'm really glad I was able to meet you and lead alongside you. The last person is the reason I started scouting to even begin with, and the reason I even wanted to try to get my Eagle Scout. And the person that without, I wouldn't have just not gotten my Eagle Scout, but I wouldn't have even tried. Dad, thank you for pushing me every step of the way, even when I really, really, really didn't want to do it, because I am so very proud to be here, and you helped me the whole way. Thank you.
At this time, I ask Mr. Whitehurst, Troop 20 Eagle Project Coach and committee member, to come forward for the Eagle Charge. Yeah.
Try to do this sideways here. Diego, Leo, John, I have the honor of giving you the Eagle Scout charge on this occasion of your elevation to the rank of Eagle Scout. The Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history, and you have been counted worthy of the highest rank in its membership. All who know you rejoice in your accomplishment. Your position, as you well know by this time, is one of honor and responsibility. You are marked men. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to fellow Scouts, and to mankind in general. This is a great undertaking. As you live up to your obligations, you bring honor to yourself and to your fellow scouts. When you fail, you bring down by so much the good name of all true and worthy scouts. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow scouts to your country and God. America has many good things to give you and your children after you, but these things depend upon the character and leadership abilities of her citizens. You are to help her in all that she needs most. She has a great past. You are here to make her future greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only toward the very best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service to God and fellow man. So, live and serve, that those who know you will be inspired to the finest living. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and abilities to the common good. Build America on a foundation of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence to God. And whatever others may do, you will leave behind a record of which every scout may be proud.
Please stand for the retiring of the colors. Color guard reform. There you go. Color guard, retrieve the colors. Color guard, retire the colors.
Thank you for joining us for this Eagle Court of Honor for Diego Geisler, Leo Grover, and John Jackson. The ceremony has concluded. The families invite you to congratulate Diego, Leo, and John and have refreshments in the fellowship hall. I now declare this Eagle Scout Court of Honor complete.